Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Ray, and welcome back to my Sims 4 channel. Today we are in Willow Creek renovating the GOTH family house. So you guys, this video has been a little bit of a headache for me for multiple different reasons. So first of all, I'll say that this build was actually really difficult. I had such a hard time with it. I think because I went in with a pretty clear vision of what I wanted to accomplish with this build. And I don't know if it's The Sims 4 in general, or maybe just the packs that I have, but I felt like I didn't have a lot to work with when it came to achieving a certain style. So basically, I wanted to make a very glam gothic family home. That's a lot to achieve, I know, but I really dislike the original build that's here on this lot. I'm so sorry to the Sims team. It's just that I always think when I look at this build that it looks like it was done by people who aren't goth and don't know anything about being goth. I don't want to be mean. I'm not trying to be nasty. I like that they tried. I do. I like that they tried. I like that there's a little bit of representation for people like me. So that's cool, and I'm not going to criticize that too harshly, but that's how I feel about this house. So I did feel like I needed to work on it. That being said, I just don't really like the way that it turned out. So yesterday I actually tried to record commentary for this build, and I actually did. I recorded the whole thing, and then I started to edit it back, and I was like, oh my goodness, I am being so freaking negative in this video. It was insane. So yesterday I was having a little bit of a rough day, admittedly, and I always like to record when I'm having a bad day because it helps me a ton. Every time I record, I feel so much better afterwards. So I know that, like, when I've mentioned before that sometimes I record when I have a bad day, you guys are super sweet and you're like, don't record if you don't feel up to it, and I love you guys for that. It's really nice that you guys care about me as a person, so thank you. But it actually helps me a ton to record when I'm feeling down. The only problem is this was the first time that I encountered recording a commentary where I just was like insane. Okay, let me clarify a little bit. So, as I mentioned, I'm not 100% satisfied with this house. I didn't achieve what I thought I was going for, but I was so negative and just nasty to myself in that video that I was like, I can't share this with you guys. I have to delete this. It was just so horrible. I couldn't believe when I was actually speaking, I didn't know. I didn't know that I was being so harsh, but I kept saying what a terrible build this was and how terrible I am at building, and I was just being over dramatic, like point blank period. I was over frickin' dramatic. Which I do have that tendency, I'll be honest, but I don't usually catch myself when I'm being dramatic. So that was why I ended up deciding to redo the commentary for this build, because I just couldn't share that with you guys. Because I just felt like if I shared that video and I talked so negatively about my own build, that there might be somebody out there that watches that and says, well, I really like this build and she thinks it's awful, so mine must be horrible. And I don't want anybody to ever think that, and I just didn't want to share that negative energy with you guys. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just, in a mood. But like I said, it did help me feel better, so that's good. It wasn't a total loss. But yeah, I decided to re-record this today, and I'm feeling so much better, so that's awesome. I'm in such a good mood today, and I don't really know. There was just so much going on yesterday, and I won't get into it because I don't need to air my dirty laundry on the internet. But you know how it is. Sometimes you just have those days where everything bad just falls on you at once, and they're not even like big things, they're just little annoyances, and it just leads to you kind of having a meltdown. And that happens to me all the time. So that was what happened. I'm totally good now. Nobody worry about me. But I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the other things that I encountered while I was working on this build. So like I said, some of the things that I had to work with were really difficult when it came to this house. I had a very specific style that I wanted to incorporate. Also, I'm so sorry if you can hear noises, voices outside. My neighbors are arguing, which is a very common occurrence. But if you hear that, I'm sorry. I can't really do anything about it. Busy traffic and neighbors arguing, that's what you get when you see my videos. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So one of the things that really bothered me was not having enough items that fit the kind of vibe that I was going for. And the biggest thing that bothered me so much was the artwork. After a while, there's only so much vampires you can use in a goth build. Mainly because this is such a huge house, you know? It's one of, I don't know, maybe it's the biggest house that I've built on this channel so far, maybe ever, because I like to keep things small. So I keep saying that I built it, and I don't know. When I go into these renovations, I always want to say that I built it, but I kind of did, because it's really not the same house that it was in the beginning. I tried to keep a lot of similar elements so you can tell that it's still the same house, but I shrunk it down a lot. I gave a new floor plan. Some of the original floor plan is still in the first and second floor, but it's updated. I don't know. After a while, I do so much renovating that I feel like it's just my build. So I don't really know what to call it, a renovation or a build. But what was I even saying? Oh gosh, I'm getting so sidetracked already. I apologize. So you know what? Let's go ahead and just switch gears. Oh, I was complaining about the lack of items. Okay, but we're just going to switch gears. I was just going to say how I struggled to use a lot of the artwork in this house because there's only so much vampires that I could use. After a while, I had to reuse a lot of different items and also get a little bit creative throughout the house because I used a lot of the cool items in the downstairs and I just had to repeat a few things. But moving on, switching gears, I wanted to talk to you guys about what I was thinking while making this home. So a lot of you guys tend to like when I talk through my own lore that I come up with for the families that I'm building for. And even though the Goth family is a pre-existing family in The Sims and in The Sims 4, I did kind of come up with my own personality traits for them. So not as much for Bella and Mortimer. I didn't really think too much about them aside from I wanted this to be a very glamorous goth house because when I think of Bella, I think of a very beautiful woman with very good and expensive taste. So I did think about that, but I thought a lot about the kids, Cassandra and Alex, or Alexander. And basically what I decided was I wanted to make a house or not a house, I wanted to make rooms for Alexander and Cassandra that reflected what I thought they would be in real life. So I decided that Alexander is actually really into horror. He loves horror movies and he loves horror stories and he wants to be a horror writer. He wants to write a novel. So I made his room with a lot of horror movie posters. There's a red accent color in his room, which you'll see much later on. We're not getting to that part anytime soon. But I actually really love his room. It might be my favorite in the entire house. I thought it was really cool. And so he has a computer, I think, and just a bunch of like different writing things. So that way he can, start his writing career early. I just thought he was a really smart and creative sim. So for Cassandra, I decided that I wanted her to be a geek. So I wanted, because I inserted myself a little bit. I did a little bit of self-inserting with Cassandra. So I decided to make her a geek. She loves video games. She's also an artist, which unfortunately is not like me. I cannot draw, paint, or anything like that to save my life. I do like crafting, but I'm not an artist. So she's an artist. She has an easel and things like that and some different drawings in her room. And what was the other thing that I decided? Oh, goodness. There was a third thing. Oh, she's really into music, which is like me. So I put some band posters and things like that around her room, which I also really like her room too. So yeah, I'm feeling much better about this build now than I did yesterday. It's not the way that I wanted it to turn out, to be perfectly honest. It's not my favorite build that I've ever done. That being said, is it an upgrade from the original? Yes. It doesn't take much to be an upgrade from the original, if I'm being completely honest. I'm trying not to be mean, you guys. I'm not a mean person, I swear. It's just that the original isn't very good. And I know that's going back really far. You can't fault the Sims team too much because it was a base game house. And when did this game come out? 2014? Wow, so it's 10 years old? 2014, 2015, something like that. So that was going back really far. So I don't want to pick on them too much. They did the most with what they had, I suppose. But we're in the living area now, and as you can see, I struggled with this room so freaking much. You see me swap out couches and rugs and coffee tables, chairs. Oh my gosh, I struggled. I was so indecisive with this build. I think I was just overthinking everything. And that's just because the build means so freaking much to me. I wanted to do the Goth family justice, and I didn't want to let them down. I felt like they were real people that I was designing a home for. So I don't know why I hated this build so much. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to be over dramatic anymore. I was so hard on myself. I don't even want to repeat some of the things that I said. Okay, I will. But I was just like, oh my god, I suck at building. I'm the worst. Nobody's gonna watch my videos anymore. I was just like going off. It was so crazy. It hurt me to watch it back. I was like, Ray, chill. I think I was just venting about other things and it came out through this Sims build. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It just, this build saw so many changes, and I'm so sorry, but I jump around so much. I need to start reminding myself that I am recording this and I'm not just building for me anymore. So I have to stop jumping around from room to room. But the problem is I have ADHD. And if I get an idea, I need to hurry up and incorporate it that very moment, or I will forget about it completely and I'll be kicking myself while I'm in editing. But something really funny about this build, this is actually hilarious because I genuinely don't know how I could have done this. You'll notice when we go up to the second floor that I 100% completely forgot to match the floorboards from the downstairs to the upstairs. How in the world I managed to do that, I have no idea, because it was so funny. Even while I was building, I was like tooting my own horn. I was like, OMG, it's so cool that I kept the original floorboards from this build. Girl, how? How did you build the entire upstairs level and not remember to match the floorboards? I was so mad at myself when I realized that. The good news is, though, I did remember to do so before I put it up on the gallery. So it's fixed. If you guys want to go download this, then the floorboards do match the downstairs. The upstairs floorboards match. I can't believe I did that. So embarrassing. Some builder I am. Now, I mean that in a very lighthearted way. I just have a really terrible memory, and sometimes I am not observant whatsoever. So that genuinely made me laugh. I really thought it was funny. So that's something that happened. And yeah, I'm just not going to even get into all the things that I don't like about this build. I am not ready to get that negative like I was yesterday. It's fine. It's a fine build. So let's talk about some good things. Back when I did my cafe build, I talked to you guys about me and my grandmother and the things that we do together, because me and my grandmother are really close. And I mentioned that me and my grandma actually go and get our hair done together. So we did that a couple of days ago. She got the full treatment. I actually just went in to get a bangs trim because my bangs, OMG, you guys, have been getting so freaking long. So in case any of you guys are wondering, because I wonder this all the time when I watch people on YouTube, what their haircuts are. My haircut is a modern shag, just in case you happen to like my hairstyle and want that yourself. And I love having bangs. I just got them. Oh my gosh, has it been half a year already? Have I had bangs for half a year? Wow, time is flying by. But I really needed a bangs trim because I don't straighten my hair anymore. And I have straightened my hair almost my entire life. So when I got my shag haircut, basically I decided to quit using my straightener. I do still use heat. I use my blow dryer just a little bit, but that's it. So this is my natural hair texture aside from having a few products in there. But yeah, I just went to trim my bangs, which was such a blessing because my bangs were driving me freaking nuts, y'all. I get so angry when my bangs start getting caught in my eyelid. I cannot handle long bangs. It just makes me so mad. I think it's like a sensory issue because I do have autism, so just like things like that drive me up the freaking wall and I can't stand it. So getting a little trim felt so refreshing to me. But one of the things that we did is we usually go to a coffee shop afterwards, but we tried a new place. We tried a new cafe, and basically they have a bunch of pastries and desserts and things like that, and they have smoothies, which was cool. My grandmother got a strawberry banana smoothie, which looked really good, and I got a French vanilla frappe, which I always love frappes. Oh, they're so good. I like to get them a lot when I go outside the house because that's the one thing that I can't really make very well by myself. I make a lot of my own iced coffee. I actually have an iced coffee right here in my Stitch cup, by the way. I absolutely love Stitch. I love Disney. Just a little fact about me. But frappes are just the one thing that I just can't seem to get right when I make them here at the house. So I always get a frappe when I go to a new cafe, and this place was really cool. I ended up getting a cannoli too, which was really delicious, and me and my grandmother had a really great time. The other thing that we did was we went to get keys made for my house. So a little funny story is one time me and my mom locked ourselves out of my house, and my grandmother lives up the street from me, so we had to walk up to my grandmother's house and ask her for help. And the thing was, we thought she had a key and she did not. So when I got in the car to go with my grandmother a couple of days ago, she's like, "Do you have your key? I am going to get keys made for your house." So I have them, and I'm like, you know what? That is a brilliant idea because I am just so forgetful. So basically why I locked myself out of the house was I was testing out another key that I had got. I don't remember why. I don't remember if I had new keys made. I don't know, and it's not important. But I was testing one out in the door to make sure that it worked, and I left it on the counter, and me and my mom left the house and we didn't have keys. So that was a disaster, and so that was why my grandmother was like, "I need a key to your house." And what's funny is she made two copies because she's that worried about me. But I'm really glad that she has it because she is not, okay, if you guys watch sitcoms at all, if you guys have seen Everybody Loves Raymond, she is not a Marie. She's not going to just like barge into my house without me knowing. So I am very happy to know that she has backup keys to my house now. But I just thought that was kind of funny and kind of cute. It's really hilarious because my grandmother has a much better memory than I do. She always says to me, she's like, "Oh, I know you have a better memory than me." I'm like, "Grandmother, no, I do not." She literally has to remind me of everything, and I encourage it. Because I don't want to forget. So anytime that she picks me up to go to the hairstylist, she sends me texts a week before, the day before, and the morning of. And I don't mind. I'm so grateful that she does because I don't want to miss out on things that are important to me because I have a very forgetful brain. But anyway, here we are working on the kitchen. If you noticed, I actually had a head start when I was working on this, and that's because I really struggled with it for a while, so I ended up cutting out most of the issues that I had with it, and I cut out a couple of other things when it comes to this build as well, because if you'll notice, this is my longest build that I've ever done here on the channel, and I feel so bad. I'm so sorry that it's so long. But basically, I ended up cutting out all of the bathrooms except for Cassandra's. I think that's the only one that I kept in because it's a little more fun. But you will see that at the end of this video. You'll see those bathrooms anyway. You'll notice it's a little bit choppy because I cut out a lot of me just being indecisive and going back and forth from room to room to room to room. And that's what I mean by, like, I need to remember that I'm recording this for you guys now, and I can't just build the way that I used to. So I'm so sorry if you find that a little bit disorienting. Did I say that right? Disorienting? I think I did. Should I Google it? Nah. I don't feel like it. You guys know what I mean. I don't even remember if I said this. I might have said it in the build commentary that I recorded yesterday, but one of the things that I really disliked about the original Goth family home was that it doesn't look like a family home. It doesn't look like any kids live there, in my opinion. And so aside from, I think there's like one weird chair at the dining room table, and that's like it. I didn't really look at it too closely, to be fair. I just got right to work. But just glancing at it, I didn't think it looked like a family home at all. So I wanted to find a balance of, okay, glamorous, Gothic and family, and that was just, it was hard to achieve. It was hard to achieve, but I did my best. But so I wanted to put a lot of craft projects around the house, craft projects and just things that looked like they belonged to children. But it's also very clean and very nice as well, because I figured Bella would be a really good mom, but she wouldn't stand for a bunch of little kid clutter all over the place. So there's a craft project, and I also went around and placed a lot of those framed photos from growing together. But this is where I start to incorporate a little more glamorous type of items. I've never used that hallway table before, the marbled hallway table. To be honest, I don't even know what pack it's from. Maybe Dine Out. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But I started to kind of really get a vision of what I wanted to do. And something that I went and did was I actually bought the Modern Luxe kit, which I wasn't originally interested in until I looked up a build buy overview video of it, and it actually had a lot of really nice swatches. So I decided that it would be perfect to buy for this home, especially for Mortimer and Bella's bedroom. And I really thought it turned out okay in the end, especially compared to what I had originally. You really feel like it's a little more luxurious than it was before. This is kind of what we start out with. I just really wasn't sure what direction I wanted to take it in. Nothing was really working for me, and I was tired of reusing the same curtains everywhere. Just nothing was doing the job. So that kit came in clutch. I ended up using a lot of the curtains that came with that pack. Those curtains are really nice, and I love that they come in just a plain black and a plain white swatch with some other really pretty swatches as well. There is a beautiful pastel pink that I adore, and I cannot wait to use those curtains in my dream home build that I'm going to be working on soon. I really don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I'm excited. I'm excited to work on that. It will definitely be in a speed build form because, okay, so a little bit of an update for you guys. I had mentioned that I wanted to do a build with me video, and I really do, but I've also mentioned before that I have really struggled with the lighting in this room. So the lighting is really, really not consistent, and so sometimes I'm sitting in the dark and the next minute I could be overblown and you can hardly see me. So that is because I still need to get blackout curtains, and a lot of you guys have left some really helpful comments and suggestions on where I can get them and how I can achieve what I'm wanting to achieve. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, basically I want to get blackout curtains for this room that are white. So, and I've had trouble finding them, but thanks to you guys, I actually think I found a couple of options, which is awesome. But I don't think I'm going to do as many build with me videos until I get those curtains, because if I want consistent lighting, I have to film at night, and I get really tired and really cranky if I try to build for too long at night. So I might just hold off on that and just stick with the speed builds for now. But please know that I do hear you. A lot of you guys have suggested that type of video, and I really want to do it. I just have that reason standing in front of me right now. Once I get that sorted, I will absolutely do more of those, because I think it's really cool when people upload those types of videos where you can actually see someone go through their process of how they build. But what are we working on now? We are working on wrapping up Mortimer and Bella's room. So it's coming together at this point. I really like the sconces that I used from growing together, and the lighting really helps. I always forget that. Guys, if you are building and you're not vibing with what you've got going on so far, just change up the lighting to what you're envisioning, and you might find that you like it better. Because I think that always helps me, especially when I'm making gothic types of builds. I always hate the direction they're heading in until I go in and change up the lighting. Either I delete some of the overhead lighting that I had placed originally just to see better, or I go in and adjust it with a sim, and that always transforms a space. So remember to not be so hard on yourself if you're not enjoying what you're doing, because it could be that the lighting just isn't quite right for the style that you're going for. But here we are in Cassandra's room. I hope I'm saying that right, Cassandra. I hope it's not Cassandra. I don't think it is. I never know how to say it because growing up, I had a friend with that name and she pronounced it Cassandra. So that was like my default, but I think it's Cassandra. I should just call her Cassie. So I'll just call her Cassie from now on because I don't want to screw it up and have you guys cringe at me too many times. But this is her room. I decided to have purple be her accent color, and my goal was to really make this look like a teenager's room because sometimes I make kids' and teens' bedrooms look a little too mature, and I think that's just because me now, I feel like my style is mature teenager. I know that sounds so silly, but I love cutesy things and I'm really into Funko Pops and gaming and just anything that's adorable. I'm just like, oh, I need that. I mean, just look at my office. This office screams mature teenager, doesn't it? I am old, but it looks like a mature teenager's room. So I had to try really hard to make this look as childlike as I possibly could, and I still could have done better, to be honest, but I really like this room. It's my favorite in the room. Well, wait, is Alexander's my favorite or is this one? I don't know, but I really like the kids' rooms, which is funny because normally I like every room in a house except for the kids' rooms because it's just not something, it's not my strong suit. But I like this room because I tried really hard to think, what would I want as a teenager, you know? So one of the things that I did was I did that rug with all the clutter because that's what I used to do as a kid. I would put all of these things that I was using out on the floor. So craft supplies, I would have CD players, iPods, whatever I used at the time depending on my age, magazines, things like that. So I really wanted to take that cute rug from I think high school years and just spread out a bunch of clutter, and I thought that was really cool. I also put this movie poster above her bed, which it has a man holding a chainsaw. It's a scary movie poster, and I thought, is that weird? Would that be horrifying to wake up to at night or in the morning? And I thought, you know what? I would like that. I wouldn't be afraid of that, so I put it in. But she has this awesome little gaming setup with a Keurig, I imagined it to be, and a mini fridge because I would have died to have a mini fridge in my room when I was a kid. I actually do have a Keurig in my office now because it's just so convenient. But I would like to have a mini fridge in my office too, just to store my creamers, but I haven't done that yet. So maybe one day. But we are in her bathroom now. Again, this is the only one that I kept in because I just thought it was the most interesting of all three bathrooms. She has her own ensuite, which is pretty sweet. I'm a punny person, okay? You'll have to learn that about me. I will make a pun at any opportunity that I possibly can. I didn't come up with my username, but the reason that I picked it was because it's a pun. RaellySims. My old channel was Ray of Sunshine, so I'm just a puns girly. I can't help it, okay? What was I talking about? I think I was talking about the bathrooms. I don't know. Nobody cares about the bathrooms. I'm just kidding. I know that some of you actually do. Some of you guys commented that on one of my builds because I asked if anybody actually liked building bathrooms, and some of you are actually really into doing those, and I wish you could pass that along to me because I cannot stand them. They are so boring. They're so boring and they just feel like a chore. They feel like school. I'm sorry. I wish I liked them, but I hate them. I hate them so much. But we are working on Alexander's room, and it was just so fun to use these scary movie posters in his room. And I used these adorable little ghosty decals from, what pack is it? Because I didn't even know these existed. I think it's Seasons. The Sims sometimes hide really cute designs in another design, so I'll be going through everything in the catalog, and this little swatch was hidden as something completely different, like flowers or something, and I had no idea that they existed until I filtered the color white, and they just popped up. I don't even know why I filtered the color white, so I was so thrilled to find them. I want those in real life so badly. I love ghosts. I think they're so cool. I believe in ghosts personally. If you don't, that's cool, but that's just me, and I've seen one, okay? So I'm just saying, I believe in them. So don't pick on me, okay? I will respect your opinion if you respect mine. That, qualifies for everything. But anyway, we're just about wrapping up his room. he just has a bunch of movie posters. I ended up putting, what else did I put on his walls? Oh yes, I remember what I put on his wall. I ended up putting, it's like an academic thing from either high school years or growing together. There are a bunch of ribbons. I just thought he was really smart, so I put that there. And a really cute thing that I like about his room, because it is kind of mature looking, is I put this old toy box in his room because, you know, a lot of us when we were even teenagers had something in our room that was really old and from our childhood that either we were sentimental about or our mother or our father just wouldn't let us get rid of it because it was special to them. So I had a bunch of really old things from when I was a small baby in my room as a teenager. One of the things that I had was, it was actually my brother's at first. My brother's really old. My brother's 9 years older than me. He's not really old, but I just like to tease him. So he had this mirror from when he was a kid that it has like, it was wood and it had a little rocking horse. I don't know if it was homemade or not, but it kind of looked like it was painted on. It doesn't matter. But it was originally my brother's and it was given to me when I was born. And so I just had that in my room for the longest time. I don't know where it is now. I know my mom has it, so it's safe. Don't worry. But we are working, okay, I'm going to interrupt myself because we are working on probably the coolest thing in the entire build. I gave Bella and Mortimer this really romantic balcony. So it has the sectional pieces from Dream Home Decorator, and I decided to hang up sheer curtains and a bunch of fairy lights. And then I just added a little bit of decor with some plants and some pillows from the Modern Luxe kit. Also, the Sims don't know who I am, unfortunately. I've been trying to tag them in all of my builds hardcore over on Twitter. But they don't know who I am, unfortunately. But if they happen to see this video, Sims team, could you please do an update where you give us some more pillows, like just one pillow to the base game that has multiple swatches? That would be amazing. Please and thank you. But I do really like that area. I think it's super romantic. I would absolutely love to spend time with my husband on a balcony like that if I had one. Which I do not, but it would be nice. It's goals, you know, but we are working on the outside now. So I need to learn to be a better builder. I talked about this earlier, but so basically my whole process is I start with the exterior, then I go in and I build the interior and I do the floor plan and all of that jazz. And once I'm finished with the inside, I move back to the outside to do the landscaping and the finishing touches. Please let me know if that's okay with you guys. That's how I'm comfortable with building. That's how I've always done it. That's how my brain works. I need to see a little bit of the exterior first, but I can't finish until it's the last step. So if you guys are okay with that, I'm gonna keep doing it. If you guys aren't, please let me know and I will try to retrain my brain. It won't be easy and it'll probably take some time, but I can try to do better with that because I know that it might be a little bit overwhelming, the constant jumping around, but it's just how I build. It's how I've always done it. Sometimes I get to listening to my music and I just zone out and even forget what I'm doing. I get in the zone, you know, I get in the zone. But I'm not wild about the exterior. The backyard isn't great. I do, however, really like the fence that I used. This one is from Vampires, and it just was that finishing touch. It really needed a little bit of something that was just 100% gothic. Like this looks like graveyard fencing, and that is something that's realistic. Like I don't like to go too crazy gothic on the outside because I think it's more realistic to have a goth family move into a regular home and just like add some black paint and just put up a fence. You know, that's more realistic than making it look crazy the way that it did before. But I'm actually really glad that we are almost to the end because I just heard thunder outside, which means it's about to storm. Oh my god, this is another reason why I hate summer. We get so many freaking storms and I'm always terrified that the power is gonna go out and it's gonna be super hot. Fingers crossed, you guys, fingers crossed. I do not want that. My doggie needs her air conditioning, okay? So I'm sorry if the lighting has gotten a little bit wonky towards the end of this video. I can't control it, unfortunately. This is not my favorite landscaping that I've ever done. These trees that I used, they look a little more spooky than what I was using originally, which helps. Oh, and another kind of cute thing that I did was I actually ended up making my own hanging plants, and I used to do this a lot. So basically what I did was I used that light from Laundry Day where it's just a light bulb on a string or something like that. And I ended up raising up a few plants and planter boxes, and that was it. They make really cute hanging plants. So I hung a little bit of red, I think, and purple just to add a splash of color. All black for this build was definitely the vibe, but a splash of color here and there is nice. Oh, I also wanted to mention the fact that I put that statue in the entrance to the house. The reason that I did that was because she reminded me of Bella. And I thought, you know what? I think Bella would have a sculpture of herself in her own home. I don't know if you guys think that, but I certainly did. So I thought that was kind of funny, just in case you've been wondering about that this whole time. But we're just about done, and we should be coming up on the screenshots very soon, you guys. So I really hope you all enjoyed this build. I wore my very best spooky outfit for you guys because I thought it was appropriate, and I didn't even wear my glasses today, which was probably a very poor decision, but they were throwing off the vibe, okay? So we couldn't have that. So I took one for the team. So that's why I'm not wearing my glasses, if you're wondering. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But I hope you guys enjoyed this renovation. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would absolutely love to have you here. But until the next time, I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.